Medasi minia medasi panya misha. Ora kwa anyi do hot nase. Kwa aba.
Thank you, Obi.
Bibi aboko there.
Yaboko. I was there.
Koyi.
Good.
Koyi pa.
Official pa.
Afin komode me hu na ache.
Yabo. You know?
Yes.
Sometimes it's not easy to find me.
Yeah.
It's good to be here. The idea we started years ago no. Musu. So I think that you two have come now. You are doing a great job. I will continue to support for as long as it's possible.
Obi.
Yes.
Mechia na machia wetifo na makase u program we de akoyese prekese jamadu. Kukumutia insan hompo ha na mavoti u kai e boy yinate prenda da ekosisen na uze bibia wa magana
Ekosiisen on
na hana gana tie ntino ewiase de eduru ha yemfani agro.
Yo, prof, where the medasi
Yo, me wo do wa kwa mu kra post for no na enche ho do magina ba bia bi di men sam kakra no nti sia men kofi
Mate medasi pa Asempa FM, yes.
Na Asempa for na mu kanya me sam kase Asempa de gospel o dia mu kan Yesu Kristo ho asem
ye ka papa okay ya na wetie ye ka pa nyamisha wonso oh nice medasi Professor Stephen Ade and yetene kano Professor Stephen Kweku Asare yedase pa nyamisha
obi medase pa also nyami insha na twaso na ekosisen no mani nye kese na esie beba no na office no aye kese pa
amen okay all right and Professor Stephen Kweku Asare ono a legal practitioner KPMG professor of accounting University of Florida and Motene Kano
yo ma mini kai ekosisen ma mutinkwa na no enyonyamo a yede ahtem eduma pa mo ye ne award ma monya digidi pa se dance se ekosisen Asempa monso Ghana ebi ma men kebeno mu pia mo ma kwani titru sane amode akan kasa ye adwuma ebia wo de bia otete ase na ansem tu kwan ekonenam America New York abonten taxi am fire na dipakon otie Ekosiisen ewo taxi no emu eye me nwanwa na nso ni nyina aka ho bi na ya bomo abaso amamon abunso body no
Asempa FM.
Your Excellency akwaba na otden
obi nyamena dum ye hoye bibia boko me chete fupa na mabahan me hu de nzama sasa wa brabo osande obi na minyim no sekedi takra this year oye nationally the level baby we do royal so wow that's great it's great it's good to see you Abrabanda man not see you see that has always been my philosophy we hasn't today happen you know as the trees grow others come up it's painful work I also say that's it on normal Abraboy the normal man so it's really a pleasure to be before you at Asempa. And this is the first time Samara me pre Asempa FM. Oh yes.
Okay. Now what you makasa sa me ba sha se wada networks but network mu ya santwa ya Asempa FM. Network mu asanten ni ekosisen. Network mu ya bonra ekosisen. Ena network ya ye kan wasem emu na yiri ekosisen ena network mu ochenyene ekosisen ena network mu gamanche ekosisen ena network mu awula efi ho ekosisen na network mu togbi ekosisen timaka ha wie dia na watwi dia bembra ko ne bon no nyomose mewie magruzo
Samuel Oku
medasi obi na watwi makasa sa me ba sha se wada networks but network mu ya santwa ya Asempa FM network mu asanten ni ekosisen network mu ya bonra ekosisen ɛna network yi a yɛka ho asɛm emu na yiri Ekosiisen ɛna network yi mu ɔkyenyene Ekosiisen ɛna network yi mu gamanche Ekosiisen ɛna network yi mu a wula efi wo hɔ Ekosiisen na network yi mu togbi Ekosiisen timaka ha wie dia na watwi dia bembra ko na bɔ no nyom se mewie magruzo
Samuel Ewuku
medasi obi
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM 94.7. Ekosiisen on Asempa FM 94.7. Ekosiisen on Asempa FM 94.7.
Presenting the award for the political program of the year, radio, going to Ekosiisen of Asempa FM. Ekosiisen Asempa FM.
Political program of the year, radio. Ekosiisen. How did it end? And the host of the show, OB, steps up to pick the award.
Congratulations, Ekosiisen. Presenting the award for the political program of the year, radio, going to Ekosiisen of Asempa FM. Ekosiisen Asempa FM.
Political program of the year, radio. Ekosiisen. How did it end? And the host of the show, OB, steps up to pick the award.
Congratulations, Ekosiisen.
And one thing you must also know is that relationship between parliamentary and presidential and two separate elections. So.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, who were a constituency would be to be winning with a margin of 25,000, 30,000.
Ekosiisen on
no
Asempa
winning
FM.
Parliamentary, one. Would be to be winning with a margin of 500, 600, 800, 400, 300. Okay, can it 10 constituencies are winning in Alabama? Difference in 2002. I think that the NDC need to revise their notes. They need to put a lot more seriousness in managing their party and their campaign. Because it is unconscionable for any political party worth its salt to asset now not be able to say 38,000 plus polling stations are to Abano. Me resource in any. We got to know this in 12 hours.
But who says they don't know? Or my country also money.
Now, I'm beside your mama. Say results also almost auditing. What is saying is that you was saying that.
No, they have not.
So if they knew, oh, the omunim gromoka, not the omunim. The omunim gromoka. Someone names omuni 146. Zomoka had to deceive everybody.
The presidential results have been declared by the EC.
Yes.
Matisse Kode was why press conference. Good.
Yes.
And they have corroborated near EC at the actual bunting. Media houses are horror. From Monday, when you were doing your tabulation,
yes.
I don't think you were getting the figures from outer space.
Yes.
You were operating within a certain acceptable space. I am more grounds or more mamu. Because the results say decline the open.
Yes.
And I'm from polling stations, they decline the open.
Yes.
Figures no free. So I can't believe say every media house in Ghana is against a particular political party to the extent say all of you are reporting what is not right. No. Everybody cannot be right. No, sorry. Everybody cannot be wrong. And you alone right. On the contrary, then everybody else must be right. And you are wrong. Especially when you're not giving us figures to counter what is already out there. Forward the bra. Say I'm pam. Say would you correct for bread. But this business where you are just speaking to the wind without dropping facts and figures on the table now, I'm not sure it's helping the discourse. And back to the issue of the fact that bullets do not discriminate. And I mean, say, let us be cautious. Over 100 women, and I say, easy on yes. So tomorrow another 100 will go, another 100 will go, another 100 will go. What is going to happen? And bullets don't discriminate. That's what somebody has just told us, that bullets don't discriminate. When he finishes, will he also go to the EC headquarters or he will go back home? So that when the bullets are not discriminated, let's be a bit more circumspect. It's politics. It's an election. Results have been declared.
Under the MPP demanded recollection, it was granted. why can't same be granted for the NDC? And I'm challenging any media person who has a copy of the Techima South results, parliamentary, share it with us.
When you say you will
share it with us. Yes. So are you saying that tomorrow, for the future of our democracy, we're not doing this just for today? Anybody can sit anywhere and say, I've declared this candidate, no results, then the answer is go to court. So you to go to court. Go to court.
You said you will ignore them in Parliament. What do you mean by that? Ignore them in Parliament. What exactly do you mean?
Minority leader. I'm an elected MP. I'm an elected MP. All my colleagues are elected. The sovereignty must reside in the people. Article 2. The sovereign have vested their authority and mandate in us. That we cannot even demand an electoral commission receive a petition, they will come for budget.
So you boycott their budget?
Speaker of Parliament, you would need somebody who is above reproach, above partisanship, familiar with the rules, have an unparalleled commitment to the good of Ghana and to the service of Ghana, and will hold the two sides together to serve the good of Ghana and not serve any parochial, narrow partisan interest. That is what we should look for in who the Speaker would be, and one who would build Parliament as a responsive, transparent, accountable institution of state that will allow us to hold ministers, chief executive, and other appointees accountable to the people of Ghana in the name of respecting the sovereign will of the Ghanaian people. I wouldn't make a determination of that. Professor Michael Quay has his positive. He's contributed immensely into rebuilding and improving the parliamentary service. You can't take away that from him. But politically neutral is difficult to judge him and many other speakers. So you want a speaker for this purpose of eighth parliament who is politically neutral. And so we expect that going forward, without prejudice to who is declared president. For instance, I expect that whoever wins the presidency, first of all, must cut and reduce the size of government. I will not, whether as majority or minority leader, negotiate with any president on reducing the size of his government. He must, because that's what the Ghanaian people want. Why would you want to have 120 ministers of state in a small country like Ghana? Why can't you have maximum? Parliament should not support any president to bring in appointees and appointment of ministers and deputy ministers exceeding 70. I wanted to reflect that the Ghanaian people want a preservation of public resources and its prudent use. Sure. And in that use, they want to see the number and the size of ministers reduced. You have to provide accommodation, provide vehicles, four-wheel saloon. All that counts as a cost. That can be used to take care of a pregnant woman or some sick child somewhere, sure. Whoever becomes president of Ghana. And we are tying his hands not to be wasting public resources and on profligate expenditure. So we're not tying his hand. We're just saying that spend the taxpayers' money well and spend it prudently. You don't need that large size of government to run.
Off the top of your head. Bonipenu, off the top of your head.
No. So the book is a woman this challenger. Now if you brush him with your phone more crown.
Off the top of your head.
Mama, you brush it. Like my Lucy cry. Can't say Jessica with Jessica. Oh, my Lucy Afo. One. Yaboni when you're position. Oh, you can't get. No one we are so that Ali, okay.
I have mastered from Cambridge. Okay.
We'll be LGBT bench. Javier. I want to tell you how to set your own.
Nipa 5. Who you did? Or no one. Because in there you need 2. Why do? But
the
top of your head. Member MPs. And MPs. Who are MP? I won't see the MPs. Nipa 5 for me.
I Rashid Kolambik. Uti.
How do you know about?
Oh, no, me when you are didn't come.
Obi, then I lawyer Tia.
President of Ghana.
That's also free Beku.
That's free Beku. Why are you complaining?
That's also free Beku.
Appointment.
So why are you complaining? No, say your human resource. I said, well, they're very offensive. Say your human resource.
On that score, I don't know what I can say. Young couple, yeah.
But even the chairmanship, very surprising. All the three chairmen in Iran, all the three in Iran, Jerry Koyeno, MP before Jerry, young question, Anna, a guy reference, a chairman of yeah, bye.
I take over no advice, Anna.
Anna, Abronia Sunie, Anna, Abronia Suno.
That's all contest.
Oh, that was our argument.
He was first vice.
Was the first vice. And Omuka say, now chairman could give bonus.
Automatically, automatically,
and I know what our argument then was this. Like I said, your chairman is first vice chairman become the chairman when the chairman is in the school.
Yeah.
And to the constitution, our MPP constitution anticipates the creation of a
Bono region.
By region, yeah. And now, about 829 constituency, now we have 12. Our agreement was that say chairman Bono is we agree. But since we have been because
you have to elect new chairman.
We had deputy youth organizer. Well, my automatic youth organizer. You control by youth organizer. Now then I say
chairman I was saying
deputy organizer na all I have already deputy organizer and don't call the organizer. So that this is our argument. And the mass of us have a problem with some person that they think say we don't.
Obi me say the people ma bravo na e medi nkomo ye me don't play bobo so. Obi ma bravo.
Obi be say
very resource
me rap up me say party for say atwenchem na ato ye no. Be ma bibia na di.
Na e atwenchem de.
Obi
will lose 5 seats.
And not even idea in all. Only a party with 169 seats in parliament. Clear majority.
Yeah.
And
one
the same say from now on, yeah. And got your time. So that's it. And Usher Nema present policies, social intervention, free water, cooling the store 51.7 or 0.3. They are to venture for me, they are to venture me. And I think the president is wisdom now. At committee. It's your best party for. You would
for Apostle Sadaka say we need more appointments in the region. Why? Achieve Musias Kramono, and achieve the motion. And Mansoy Bibiase. Who you come again? Mansoy Musias.
What is your put it in the list, Media, Baba. We said Dr. Noama Elbrekum, Dr. Gideon Boakum.
You're creating a
position.
Dear position.
So why are you then complaining?
Dear position, dear President Girobako. Dear
position. To the vice.
Oh, please, Obi, please. Dear position. Awesome Vice President office. Oh, please. Awesome Vice President office. No. I have a phone here. I know. Don't come here with us. I'm going to make you economic advice. Office of the Vice President. Office of the Vice President.
Anyway, lawyer Alfred Tua.
Yes.
And I'm a
young energetic guy. Yeah, young energetic guy.
Another lawyer answer.
And nobody or opposition. Deputy General Secretary.
It's
an appointive position. He was not elected.
But not government. Government, the young party.
And originally, I'm a bomb price on some of
okay. Obi said,
I'm my friend Poma.
Yes, SIC.
That's our opposition.
I'm a young dynamic girl. And the crime was a party generally from the farm. But I'm saying that I'm a crown. We say national one, Carabina, Abaswodio. I'm my bravo.
Okay. Your friend is saying, Honorable Hajia, I'm a friend. So,
no information.
No information. Our position.
I am so surprised that you
are. Anthony Akoto say, yeah. Oh, yeah, Bununi.
Yeah.
And it's the power.
I would say Bruni complete.
No, I would say I would say
agree.
Evaluation. That's
what
I appointed for Ashanti region.
Yeah. That's what the name of SK Buff.
That's the point I want to.
No, for SK Buff.
Appointment regional balance. Regional balance. No, he was appointed for Ashanti, but not from
Buff. Okay. It is going forward. Do you think, sir, Bono should be given its due in terms of appointment? But you need people who can push.
Human resources.
And I was a United Front.
Exactly.
And the chief whip, no hard game.
Oh, they're going there. Over the bar.
Wouldn't be. And I'm not going to say Central region, a committee. Ashanti region, a committee. All other regions are meeting. On
how to.
Bono is Bono. I have already made
Middle Belt Development Authority CEO.
I do them.
Or your day.
Or of the band.
That's why they appoint. The whole thing that's not a paper. This was also more than 10.
Oh, but there was no matter whatever.
It is important to state upfront the call of Muhammad to tell his supporters the truth.
Presenting the award for the political program of the year, radio, going to Ekosiisen of Asempa FM. Ekosiisen Asempa FM.
Political program of the year, radio, Ekosiisen. How did it end? And the host of the show, OB, steps up to pick the award.
Congratulations, Ekosiisen. Presenting the award for the political program of the year, radio, going to Ekosiisen of Asempa FM. Ekosiisen Asempa FM.
Political program of the year, radio, Ekosiisen. How did it end? And the host of the show, OB, steps up to pick the award.
Congratulations, Ekosiisen.
Are you ready? You are listening to the CNG radio program of the year, Ekosiisen on Asempa 94.7 FM. This is the CNG radio program of the year, Ekosiisen.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM 94.7.
sun. On the road with glasses on. All along we go, laughing all the way. Bells are ringing loud, everywhere is green. Oh, what fun it is to walk on the road with glasses on. Oh, jingle bells, me and friends, swinging on the way. Oh, what fun it is to walk on the road with glasses on. Jingle bells, me and friends, swinging on the way. Oh, what fun it is to walk on the road with glasses on. Dashing through the sun, on the road with glasses on. All along we go, laughing all the way. Bells are ringing loud, everywhere is green. Oh, what fun it is to walk on the road with glasses on. Oh, jingle bells, me and friends, swinging on the way. Oh, what fun it is to walk on the road with glasses on. Jingle bells, me and friends, swinging on the way. Oh, what fun it is to walk on the road with glasses on. Via go abro, to Yensu bio,
Asempa FM.
Wama fe pato yen. Via go abro, to Yensu bio, Ejonyami wakrayen. Wama fe pato yene. Hallelujah, 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 amen. Hallelujah, 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 amen. Via go abro, to Yensu bio, Ejonyami watom yen, wamafe pato yen. Hallelujah, 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 amen. Hallelujah, hallelujah,
Asempa FM.
hallelujah, amen. Yeah, afia papa betuye biom. Chadi, na tonasi, bumpume. Ema official po, after tuya, yetinu pe.
94.7 Asempa FM Sunday on the eve of Christmas, 24th December 2020, a Thursday afternoon, 39 after 2. And no, you share double voices, Nema will be bringing. Na mahu said in your ACA some very memorable voices just for you. And said you win and then so a year at the 24th day of December 2020. Ochina a Christmas day. And it's not say the 24th edition of Ekosiisen On Ghana's biggest and the most authoritative political, social, current affairs talk show, the multiple award-winning late afternoon political talk show. I speak on behalf of the best production team in town, a team led by Dominic Kisi Yeboah, with support from Nana Chum Berema, Jackson Osei in Tiamoa, Eric Opare DJ, and a Queen Star Japan. And a special day for so many reasons, not just because of the fact say eve of Christmas, and also birthday of some very, very, very prominent and special people. Just to acknowledge them. Top on that list, me I'm a former boss. The person I took over from as programs manager for Asempa FM, Mr. Same Kwadede Yirenchi. Mr. Same Kwadede Yirenchi, happy birthday to you. Live to be 94.7 and beyond. We thank you so much for the influence, for the impact, and for everything. I'll play that special song. I'll request it, for you. Don't worry. And then so your birthday of the General Secretary of the NDC, the Honorable Johnson Asiedu Nketia. Happy birthday to you, General Mosquito. No, General Mosquito, you're too much. Or you're too much. And happy birthday to you. And also the birthday of the Youth and Sports Minister of the Republic, MP for Achimampunua Constituency, the Honorable Isaac Esiama. Honorable, happy birthday to you as well. You've been a very good friend of our show and a friend to some of us. Happy birthday to you, Honorable Isaac Esiama. Why be your crowd in the birthday now? Me money day. And my boy Quadra Day Renchi, my boy General Mosquito, my boy Isaac Esiama. I think there are quite a number of people at 81 birthday. And okay, Delali Atiase, sports presenter with Love FM in Kumasi. Our own colleague, the Multimedia Group based in Kumasi with Love FM. Oman unimzana Delali Atiase. Awoda Delali Atiase. So mu amfini bia ya mudi.
Hey, Delasso.
Delali Atiase. Yeah.
Hey, on watch Multimedia show.
Watch it.
Only guy na. The near pocha na need to grow TUC no. A friend is saying I think a marketing guy manager.
On also love him.
Yeah,
okay.
And ba kwa watch your party bi ami huni dimbo da ikokoi. Oh no, boss na.
Yeah, boss no wo hono.
Yeah.
He manager equality.
Agla,
yeah.
Jim Agla. Yeah. And Apuzo. Yeah,
Apuzo that's all.
Yeah, Apuzo more drive time.
Okay.
Programs direct times a Love FM. Yeah.
Okay.
Apuzo. Okay. Apuzo drive way back and then or hanging the boots and the Kumasi Apuzo. Oh, you cannot.
Yeah, they pay their dues.
And I have doctor engineer and now to attend so then a birthday.
Okay. The list is endless. And it's a special day. Obi say happy birthday to the great prophet of Bubuashi. And the great prophet of Bubuashi, and I want so award happy birthday.
Great former Oboku. I shall say Bonifu is a great prophet.
Great prophet of Bubuashi.
Great prophet of Bubuashi.
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah, and then well, say, official part to all my family and friends, to my mom, Evelyn SL, and my dad, Sammy of Speedlink Freight Services in London, my dad, Kwesi Yeboah, Pastor Kobe of Bread of Heaven, Philo, Ivy, Amanda, and Jeffrey, all in London, and Kwesi Reynolds to Aguna Odobeng, and Ochia Ebusuafua, Ewo Amanone. We say, good afternoon, Obi. Today is my 9th wedding anniversary. I thank God.
Oh, Masa Moma Sonko did you?
I thank God for giving me a beautiful and understanding
wife.
That
I'm 30, Obisi 41.
Obisi 41. And Abraham Lincoln of ECG and a Mrs. Mary Damte Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln, sure.
Yeah, on and then the wedding anniversary, the 9th wedding anniversary. Yeah, Abraham Lincoln and Mrs. Mary Damte Lincoln. On also Kofori, the original.
You know your bar. Oh, I'm a Joseph Cry. Very, very good question. I'm a Busano.
Oh yeah, under the circumstances, yeah, very, very good question. And you'll be an area of bar. Yeah. And yeah, so my kwabna sante na moten nka no sounds na Joseph Opoku Gapo ewo Joseph here in parliamentary correspondent and rana me catch be say the influence of multimedia are built you over the years, you know, and yet just because you were the nicest building and I say you were the best machines, it's because of the quality of our human resource. And the other we can confidently say that our parliament we have the best reporters in parliament. And for Joy Cluster, Joseph Opoku Gapo, and for the Adom Cluster, and Abednego Asante Asiedu, and 2 solid reporters for us, reporting every day from the Parliament of Ghana. And Joseph Ewaha, Mobekaya Waba, Ababe Buaye Meyeshe, how the 8th Parliament will look at. And you share the leadership of Parliament. And I started with who would be the Speaker of Parliament. names being about up permutations na at saying we'll do that analysis. You really are share on the majority and the minority side, no. Why am I be for me leader and I said the front bench of the two sides. Names be braina na about up. In the end, and yebe Bobby na fe share chances of omunyina the 8th Parliament. But I'm told say Stephen Tornado appear. Former captain of the Black Stars, NA announced na woda.
No, sure. Also, the new also the way be by
step up.
I think the one of the uniqueness and in a home brass here.
Yeah.
Very, very humble.
Very humble.
And upper fashion so. Yeah. Otashe. Otashe green shoes pa. And the shoes also not just normal shoes.
And normal shoes.
Yeah. Only Udaashe. The shoe or shana Coleman. The Coleman then that's a Jinakora Amas in there too. Coleman, formerly of Zoom Zion. I have any shoes or
shana. That tornado shoes in there will be ODABL.
No, me no. There's a customer to you. Mr. Coleman shoes. Robert Coleman.
Unruhe.
It's the birthday there. Onyamishan, one of the finest captain. Ghana Black Stars. Yeah, Ghana.
That's true.
Baby Obiano.
Yeah.
Step up.
Say
no the
the fashion way, no.
Yeah.
Fashion line, step up. Wait, this is Bishop Mensah in London. Could you please wish my second born Kofi Osei Mensah a happy birthday in advance tomorrow? Okay, tomorrow will be his birthday. He will be 11 years tomorrow. I wish him God's protection and provision. Thank you. And thank you to you, Bishop. On my Hinesikani, and guess who is coming to
Gaiji.
Samuel Brian Boabing.
Sure. Oh no, onye di ho. You know, but obi before I be koso no. Wadaroma apostolic empowerment to say afinia obekasa ho.
Yeah.
Onyame ya adoma say afi ebe kona wie no na yasa ne ho edin kita ho kase pa ma bibia timi Winston bra na oja oboji say Otukono, Winston Bra, Dr. Otukono. Na me fasa kwenya wezu obi. Na me appeal to Ghana for you know. Debia da me kase abatuo we na eye sronko. Esan se na eye mampen a wadi to me pain.
Yes.
Any man paying or also owed to me. Inti yeka intricacy. Any in a where Ghana about to ne a manual same Nipa mienua only a kanyano, not only a been for ye. Inti in as much as it was going to be very exciting, it was also a very serious and delicate elections. Yebesre baby afedi ekeka kuduno. Yes, sir. Obia ni ho betimeji chim se NDC for bo adwo aba ya to no so da. Mekoso asre se de se fata se amanyuku NDC eye. Wonin tu sa na mo no. If say ikrobi wo ba bia e friend Ghana anka will take a second chance. Unfortunately, ikrobi any baby. You know, if this afternoon alert Libya.
Gazette.
Yeah, you see, sometimes no, me say, San your money, ye Winston, they were di San we church. A beboa. Simple, say sample netia, simple, Safin Electoral Commission for.
But it is not even true.
And then because say, simple.
Why would you call on people to go and mass up at the assembly?
Simple. So mi busa say one ya man yosem na mo yewe you know e be we chin dey emfaso na won be
yeah,
because this avoidable tensions are enyina ye pick up your day be say be obi nya be man chen obi o it gets to that point then it means enyina na abo amakru na dey abo it ye besre all political party, in this case the NDC. They should exercise moderation. If they have admirers, so when you admirers pa Upoko experience when ya Winston experience when ya they could be if they will be fair. Say probably the mark of even 6 million. na ye nyina ya gitum se de na se na na se obi dia tonso ye nyi se omedu okra to the extent that 137 so those lapses no mo person mo de ho Asempa we agree omo fan ko no mo channel it
the
appropriate quarters ya say ene kwa post for quality ma koji to me say de ye even ye chere keke kra person be chere wadwe keke na ye ma kwa ma onye bi won cry why we heading towards and Winston I don't know mimi susue mu no for the past 2 days maker minim de opoku beka minim de obeka that one wo mrashibi dom kuma na 106 no one person kombenya kwanya akọ electoral commission hono akodinkita hono sa osi akwan na erishia omo no madwedim whether there was a need to go through a certain process or procedure sa wentwi pinchini si wono media wa Brasil it was very much unnecessary and it should have been avoided. If we say the worst the police could have done, and they say, "Muye mako 106." Yabema mu nyina mo kwan or mo kan di fo no kwan. These are harmless people who represent your interest. Many sure say hono mo kotutu akochisikan akofo nsuhia na ase akọ their worst is to disagree with Jane Mensah while presenting their petition. So all these things heighten the tension. She said minority leader kase wonso beba e ho mashibidwem. Wonso obeba e ho mashibidwem. Ye few cry. Ye new 2021 amemum cry o. But e ho popoye na eba no. It's contrary to Nanado time electoral commission declare no. Oka say abato no sunsuanso no kire say ebra so se Ghana for etimi eye baako ne eye adwuma bom. So mesre ye mekire post for adwuma ha. Ye mekire members of parliament for adwuma, ye nche electoral commission for adwuma ha, especially when even this matter of Techiman South, the NDC continues to paint a picture of Techiman South, no fragadam bia se connection kana nebi opoku. You are following them, and it's worrying, very worrying.
But my dream, you follow conversation now. Of course, NDC continues to raise concerns about Esikado. They've been talking about Zabzugu. They've been talking about Seshio. Takwan Swayem. But Techiman South, they continue to hate on Techiman South to the extent that minority for address a press conference the omofreno public collation putting together figures one after the other any adiadi na omo ye ma any na ehun ye omo focusing on other areas Techiman South and no boss abo in fact na me hear documentary be in Ranajo I catalog they see what Techiman South over the last 2 weeks or so, right from the 9th now moto abano abababesine. And who say NDC for no have been very consistent in insisting say say we need Techiman South and it's been taken away from them. My question is, what stopped the electoral commission from publicly putting out details of Techiman South, polling station by polling station, showing us evidence of the summary sheet that ended up giving us that figure, which they based on that to declare Techiman South for Martin J. Mensah. What stopped the electoral commission? See, then after say NDC, minority for New Modiano, Chairman McMenu, and so Nidian Ra, and also the pink sheets by on the no above Nidian table and Chenkakra, and Excel sheets nana. Or complaining say NDC for Modiano, or we use Excel sheets instead of focusing on pink sheets, or also to display Excel sheets na even after that, I also go ahead any own coalition. Question me bisan is what stops the EC? I think say we should pile some pressure in that direction. Say the electoral commission must come and show us the evidence of the basis for which would declare NPP candidate the winner as far as that election is concerned.
But I think the difficulty for the EC would be, sir, which Based on which law number is hard na wo person mo
some ransom and of course we don't want to stick to what the rules say. We don't want to stick to what exactly regulations see in terms of what should be done. But this is something that is raising tension. This is something everybody is talking about. This is something that is drawing people onto the streets. In fact, okay, minority for petition on the comma Madam Jean Mensah to me present you on the day send the command Jean Mensah later Okachram will say she's now ready if they want to still come and petition her in person or available they make the point said they associate with the concerns that former President John Mahama has raised about the presidential election but where the final bit in terms of the demand that they are making now, the focus specifically is on Techiman South. It's on Techiman South, and especially when we've seen a situation where both parties know more public collation. Obiama the different figures. NPP force your movie near by more than 400. NDC force your movie near by more than 293. I think, sir, even without the requirements of law in terms of what the approach should be, the Electoral Commission needs to clear the air. Easy way, they've responded to virtually everything. They see social media comments by leaders, including former President Mahama, and they issue a statement responding. They see videos trending on social media, and they issue a statement responding to that. So what stops them? Say, this very crucial issue, probably issuing a statement. They don't have to do a public thing and show us all the pink sheets on live TV, but issuing a public statement detailing which votes were won in which polling stations, all the 267 or so. So we are all clear in our mind, so that everyone can go to bed and be clear in their mind. Say, the EC knows what it's doing. In Rani there, we can all raise the queries about whether there will be a legal basis for that, but this EC has fought off every single allegation that has targeted their integrity. What of the allegation that they've tempered with Techiman South? What stops them from clarifying it so that we can let this go to bed? It then gives off a certain impression. Say, for all you know, there's something to hide. And no prevent you from going ahead and putting out those details. I think in the interest of the nation's peace, they need to go ahead and clear the air for all of us.
The other point would be, sir, the EC, after declaring results, becomes almost functus officio. There is no other thing they can do apart from under the compulsion of a court. You understand? To them, they have declared Techiman South. They've declared the MPP's candidate as winner. They've gone ahead to gazette the result. It would probably take a court of competent jurisdiction to order them to do what we all want them to do.
Obi.
I don't know how we look at that angle as well.
Obi.
Yes.
Nancha Messeman Casa, but Maman Cancer.
Maminteo.
Mamincha with you for Mamincha with you for. And Yam Rana no Kade say EC will declare results. I won't post in our constituency office now.
Yes.
Techiman's in what about her? We poster.
Won't post it.
No, good.
I think that
won't post it. Techiman's side won't post it.
Website,
no. Oh, constituency or no.
Oh, okay.
No, I think posting there at the polling station, constituency, you hand over to a copy of the sheet.
At the coalition center, I'm in intro.
Okay.
At the coalition center, when you finish now, you are supposed to post the results at the constituency office. I'm going to read that particular regulation out to you very soon.
From CI 127.
CI 127. I'm just trying to get it from my phone. Asema Yerekan. And Joseph Gapoya, you know, and the Macre being behind. Ninana de, and there's a semaba.
Ekosiise On Asempa FM.
Ibotuma boy in Ninara.
Yeah.
Eben Quana for an boy in Yina. Mra Mahokwan.
Yeah.
In Chowdi say essay, a Mrankusin Ezbe Juma. It is simple. Go ahead and do this very thing. Law say or there. Let me just get that particular provision. See, I think it's regulation 43 or so. I'm just trying to get that one, and I'll read verbatim what it says, so you'd understand that when the you declare the results as EC, you're supposed to post it in the constituency, so that people can see. Inti se asema ba. Nankofo say, oh, yenyibi. Martin J. Mensah say on the 11th of December, Oyada NDC parliamentary candidate for Techiman South, Christopher Benyere, Oko Court. What's it? Oko Sunyane Court, requesting for recollation.
Okay.
So if he's calling for recollation, what that means is that it means that he admits there's a collation. If I'm choosing my words carefully. If
he actually went to court
calling for a recollation.
Was that withdrawn?
Because it means that
it was withdrawn.
Yeah, it was withdrawn.
Yes.
But so you go to court calling for a recollation. What are you saying? You're saying that okay. Recollation.
But me bonyo so in your sign any bill.
Recollation. And yes, okay, so subject to regulation 42 immediately after the results of the poll for the polling stations in the constituency of the returning officer have been given to the returning officer, the returning officer shall, in the presence of the candidates and representative of the candidates, or not more than 2 counting agents appointed by each candidate, assemble the results from the polling stations without recounting the ballots in the ballot boxes, except where there's a challenge by a candidate or counting agent in respect of fill the parliamentary election result summary sheet as set out in Form 1D of the schedule. Give public notice of the total votes cast for each candidate, publicly declare as elected in a parliamentary election the candidate who has the highest vote, request the candidates in the representatives or counting agents together with the returning officer sign the parliamentary sheet, parliamentary coalition sheet as set out in Form C of the schedule, and the parliamentary election result sheet as set out in Form D of the schedule, and post a copy of at the Constituency Coalition Center.
Okay.
So this is Regulation 43. Posted at the Constituency Coalition Center. Obi, post a copy. Post a copy there. Now, he post a copy in here. Abra yeko electoral commission website no was the AUB presidential
one
parliamentary is not Techiman South and come on America there on na mese menye baba na ya adwende oba dema electoral commission emrano say out the man de be yeduma awo obi ka de emra na mese e emra be yeduma obo ho
post the coalition sheet
my SA gazette post it see ntema bi wo ha prema kan say mencho
and the amount necessary say will be posting the summary coalition sheet. They say on the summary coalition sheet at the constituency level, no, a space all the 256 polling stations. You're thrown in now on the vote will be a so once you post it, obia. So who posting poa give all the reps a copy.
Into America, and the Assemno Odzikan, I'm can say me. Semakade Obi Iburiam, Minimde Iburiam Sabe,
Ekosiise On Asempa FM.
Odrumibia. Oede Mubira Hude, Assembly Memacana Mabolata. A man called Funkade, Asma Winston K on Quaro, Obi Ninja maybe Oriano, or Yakede, Unya, Obitin Bono. Because it's a man at the Juma, and then a man at the Juma, my young man. Fama the membre on Yejuma, not a coboho. Say at the boha, Nanya, say Oyada or the boho initially. And I'm can't say Mincho, NDC started with Oshas was you or Yanko Court. NDC was winning public, all he wanted to do was to win public sympathy. To actually prove to the public there we win. Now, so when you're then public support now, no shall say the Waroko quarter. They even put one quarter, they would have achieved their case there and check out on the way we end, and that's the end of it. That's how I see it from where I sit. And Electoral Commission wanted to maybe a while, you know, they've actually made their case too difficult.
Relative to Techiman South.
Justice Atuguba. Before Afrajan, but sorry if you see go to court, you see going to court is not easy.
When you are put in the door, that cross examination starts here.
My brother,
all almost going to court is easy.
And
but the other thing is on say, let's grant say the Electoral Commission is being recalcitrant. they also are a creation of law.
Which they believe they are not being.
Come again?
The Electoral Commission.
Yes.
They are not.
They believe they are not being recalcitrant. Omufi said, they also they've gazetted the results and all of that. But if I believe, say, the EC had to do something based on CI, because they prepared this CI for Parliament to approve. It is a CI clear in Regulation 43, right? Regulation 43. Yeah. Say, Constituency Coalition Center, you have to post the results. That's the EC. There are avenues for you to also compare.
But that's where the NDC has. That's where they have a challenge. I don't think that says
yes.
Now to them, Buapayum,
yes.
Onye. Now per se, court, which is they believe that
yes.
court in this matter is avoidable if only we can go by the initial regulations in IAG.
Yes.
And I think that.
But the challenge now, they say, the Electoral Commission feels they've not done anything wrong. They think
Winston can carry a digital. Okay, carry a any viewers and listeners. We are about to a copy of Nyoma Akoso in terms of about to and see a timid because farm a ban who will be a to a ban, meaning any down. And the Electoral Commission for Musi. Ghana about to abakose muno bribia that they come website near presidential musi ene mu pese mu de parliamentary perfect fairness why do we all have to go just because of a constituency the whole elections now Winston Koyo Kodila Onwadi Adan say bibia no gapo kisi very peaceful if after peacefulness no the AC will say a hopeless helpless situation just because of one constituency. Why?
No, but Oman, me point in say if there are violations against the law,
and I'm saying that the position of them
avenue where that violation can be cured. But that avenue is the court.
No.
Well,
Obi, you have interviewed them.
Yes.
I have. Gapo Wednesday.
Yes.
Their position is very clear and simple. I didn't say 1 + 1 and 2. And avoidable going to the best mass teacher Legon.
Yes.
But
one party is not willing to play ball, and you have to compel that party to do his job. And that's my point. But you see, because it's not as if say easy now your imagine say the more can yet say ya in the baby the easy things they've gone ahead to gazette the result. So if they have not done what they were supposed to do pursuant to Regulation 43 in CI 127. Where is the appropriate court to deal with it? It's the court.
So repeatedly, we've been asking the minority this question, including conversations Harun Idris with the minority Dankasai about why they are not going to court. One of the points have to do with the old argument, say, if a declaration in here, then what's the basis? But you are pointing out, say, a violation of the law of a sort, and I be on bit me court to compel them to. But clearly, they are concerned about say omubeko court and this may end up dragging beyond the 7th of January. So what's the minority leader
in fact, lawyer Kojoga Daudu made the same point.
He argues that Omo person a resolution to the Techiman South issue before January 7, 2021. Because of course, with 137, that has a key role to play in terms of the balance of power. Who forms the majority? Who dictates who the Speaker of Parliament will be eventually? Go to court. Now, a drag for the next 30 days. Now a ruling embar up on that. Then they end up losing the space that they have to have probably formed the majority and end up dictating who exactly the next speaker will be. So yes, go to court, yes. But Electoral Commission also has a responsibility. Say, results no more declare so far no. Gazette no more that far no. They need to help build some integrity and show evidence that what they've done is something that we can all count on. And at this time that there's a dispute.
For you now, the biggest evidence they can show, said your manner can, would be to put out the summary coalition sheet, right?
I would. In fact, me, I'll be interested in seeing the summary coalition sheet. I'll be interested in seeing
pink sheet by pink sheet.
I will be interested in seeing that. I will be, and specifically the figures for all of them, because in fact, documentary and I may refer and I may hear in Ranajui. at a point in time, there was a claim. I don't know how true that is, although we can all go back and verify. There was a claim, say, as at the time that they were doing the mathematics, initially there was a claim that about 5 out of the 267 hadn't come through. And then later they said there were 2 that were eventually outstanding. Of course, we saw the NDC put out the details of the 267.
Yeah.
Press conference now. Inti me there me dinachire no madwum yam na kakra ya kan say. Say then the impression was that enya the full complement of the pink sheet, even at the time that the final collation was actually being done. Of course, the NDC has gone out to put out the details of how they say are duplicates of all the 267. I would, and of course, the MPP has also done it more. I would have more trust and confidence in what I would see the Electoral Commission put out as far as all of those details are concerned, especially at a time when there's a contention between two sides. So for me, it goes beyond the requirements of the law. It goes fundamentally to the responsibility that the people of Ghana have put on Madam Jean Mensah and her commissioners, that they are not just conducting an election and declaring results, but in a way to build the confidence of Ghanaians in that process that they are supervising, so that people are not tempted to want to make use of alternative measures, including going to court to capture power or getting onto the street. That responsibility is for Sheke based on someone who say they are acting according to law, which we are even seeing that they are breaching now. To a certain extent, you'll be very disappointed.
Okay. Man, before there are some messages. Senior journalist Abdul Malik Kwekubako is listening to us. Or say, where are violations of law cured? Not the courts. Do we have the luxury of an alternative? Post-gazetting, the way forward lies in court. Let's not beat about the bush with too much talk. We deepen our democracy by using the judicial option to cure the mischief. 2013 election petition brought up hundreds of electoral malpractices, violations and irregularities with the Supreme Court, which the Supreme Court interrogated and made recommendations. The NDC's quest to form a parliamentary majority can only be achieved in the courts, nowhere else. What stopped the NDC from continuing with the writ of mandamus in the Sunyani court beyond the requirement of the law? How? That's an elusive option. And he feels that the only way out now.
But on some way, because because the position of the NDC amongst the plenty ones, Obi and also a deliberate action. And San Shemi say, Wapayomuna Wayan from Zono, Mimi Messens and Kwas in Libya. Then two, the NDC is asking, say Electoral Commission to me call back Ekosiisen figures. What then is wrong? So call back, hear their side, and see whether they can rectify that lapse. We all are agreeing that they be NABA, Newman will be Bomoya, you say, Enshadam Wayino, and Kabias and Kumkuis and Komoinano, Asendibia. They are telling us that, ye catch almost say, Omunkokot, again, ye catch Electoral Commission. At the end, you catch the flaws in the system. That's the point they are making.
But the difficulty with that position is the flaws in the system will be cured where?
Officially avoidable because they do this stage.
Okay. Let me Maminchia Kwekuba.
Yes.
I know your political history na oya you different. Enti wa kan dem no Kwekuba kunyimba ya adwene de Rebecca Adoti. Abro Kijina or Ayawaso West.
That's for Ayawaso.
Only Nadbo Papa.
Only Isaac Amu.
Yes.
What how many years were court?
We are not a parliament.
Now, you wouldn't see in the first time of Jacob for a by-election, but wouldn't see because the NDC candidate at the time did not qualify according to the provisions or qualify parliamentary candidates. Or court eventually court ruling work by election.
But and no was maybe that there are two issues. And no a petition. When you go with an election petition to the High Court for parliamentary elections, we know a writ of mandamus to compel the Electoral Commission
to do what is right.
When I was saying posti into brabe posti, two different things. An election petition will go through a process. The writ of mandamus would also go through another process.
EC results the way declare.
Yes.
Yes. Ehu video na.
Yeah.
Nanti we declare results no. No be say. Results that we declare no. Onyo dem no see. Sisi ya baby ma we dru no. I will see dem no see. Sisi dem no.
Dem no see.
Enti say if you dan dem no ateneta. Court na boko. Na say mo documents ni. Enti today ma Farijan MPP. Or train woman was the documents na be. No shame.
Asempa FM.
Not the documents na that be. Case biara nyi ho. Enti say dem da court no.
Yes.
Dem na yi was there ma ye
Ekosiise On Asempa
ye share there ye na documents ye kita no dey not nti me ye hwe documents no na ye cure them mischief no hwe Afarijan o train no man people for the documents be no ka there documents was the be no hwe nyim no no see at the time you know the I mean natural justice the MPP wanting to be heard to know that okay these are our concerns now Afarijan OT one we no catch on that and some other be hwe opa won kokko
I remember Jake saying say on train kakra bi no muntimi ngada no you go to court
go to court
me it can the bell so initial one
go to court it say dem da I say e be back okay no mo ko me nye time intino a compel electoral commission do on be ye electoral commission compel fine e dey boko akọ compel no be declare but on the remember there by that time no yes you can go ahead they filed but they've withdrawn it but that point now there what the electoral commission has done they could have saved all of us these problems if they had gone ahead to publish to post as the law says now they haven't done that now the parties say we have concerns we think this is the case the attitude of that is it sometimes Aveme this election Aveme polling station Aveme polling station they verified 355 people when they count the number of votes cast was 356 the presiding officer there all my parties were kind of 3 times we now what's now one there Ibi ana krubi between my yam verified. And I had a ye huni ye. In Taoyin Jenonka. You don't know what can that jaw situation. MPP and NDC in our ye. Nanchato see what voter in the wide MPP won't get we on. Trem obesi wa shanty in this worker there. Oh, we are because I Ashanti region. On an America day. Udra Bribi, Udumribia. In them I there, no. Now, because the Ekade and Casamonoa. I want some more shiny there. Sisi area waka de yanko court ya yere bokui. Ye kokota. Ye compel one. The one post results. Now we post that. We post. You know waka gazette ya. We post that na on say yes. Inti the meda. No. Yanko nka chanko for there. As in we yen. Inti isimra ne ntena fom. Ne nkenkan ne bio. Yenye coalition na ye ebo hu there. Ma ye igina do de ka there. De ne yenye no. Dem not. But e nyinara no. So ya da ye sha senara. Na straight
Ekosiise On Asempa FM.
If you man and kada no ho na nka hye wudem na nka ye coalition
because the difficulties is here and say two parties in a show pink sheet supposedly from the same electoral commission but obia keka ne de ebomu a number onya no different
na so azi wo posti wo hanche ye ko ne ye sha some issues ne ye sha na kada o azi electoral commission is azi be not I would the mama balata wa ha o baby on na mmemme se de hwe
no but about in the video now circulate here Joy News a work copy no where that declaration was done. Who did the return officer declare for? So we're reading.
It's for the NPP.
Yes, it was actually for the NPP.
It was for the NPP.
Yes,
in that video.
But the contention is that now
you declare.
Yeah.
In the after coalition, we were calling for another coalition and go ahead could declare. And my point they say, if that should hold, then as far as the EC is concerned, they have done the needful. They've done the declaration. And post-declaration, there's really not more the EC can do, at least based on the law. And the only avenue now would be, because maybe the answer man Sanka in common way now started. If the EC had that body language, say, okay, we are open to want to sit down with you and let us. Clearly, everything shows say the EC believes they've done their work. And the only avenue now, is for the NDC or any other party of his ECIBB and the Bonyosono, is to get a competent court of jurisdiction.
But will be member refuse from day one.
Yes.
NDC commissioners we ending the year bepim and net ayato abewi.
And also another.
So that posturing there, our besi and ne we ye din komu.
Yes.
Anna, electoral commission say also the Juma and also oye. The NDC cannot compare. It's what the problem is now because acquire tree, mamin tree.
Yes.
My biggest worry now is that if a minority leader able to me could do that extent, say, Obaba Betuye or Assembly Biawa. Ghana is what I'm thinking of, and you're healthy for it. These are two revered state institutions. It's that mentality, no.
What happened? It was very avoidable.
That mentality, no. Yeah, a Ghana that we want to see developing at a reasonably faster pace. Even a challenge. A track cohesion and agreeing on certain things about my Ghana and Puntu. Now we have started it here. There's a problem. So I feel that you say we were court and a bemna but you're paying phones who chrome. Anna, Yentiti so say
okay, Omanenti Jackson the video and where video of the collation and declaration on the day, time and semeba and you could see say now return office and afa megaphone.
That's why the MPP also argued that NDC candidate, you know, a sympathizer. And so echo porno. And we can say, I'm so both soldier for the case, Ubia Konechi, Ubia
Konechi. Saying, say, summary collation sheet and they no. Hey.
So, and yet,
the guy not shim the
yes, no, if I learned that, Omuko or not, either at Kojo the wood, no, Case, Papa say, Omunipano, ETT, Mu, say whatever.
But that means a coalition sheet, no, easy, and one copy, no more running copies. Edema parties,
well, as far as I remember, no, Omuchronini na different. Depending on the number of parties are more contesting process no inti the duplicate inti omo throw back then it shows on all the different copies depending on the number of other polling agents or more around. And then once the signing and all so then the EC would have the very original one. But then the duplicates are one that will still be available to the parties.
And what would you bet
no, on
a video not a team.
No, that's what. So Papa no know why.
Yeah, why you say?
Why you say no? I see. I'm just tweet. I say omo nipa edgy no. Or the team.
Indeed, omo dey akwa show mo.
No, listen, shameful. So the Okoka say Asema, bigger than Asem because this is where just a constituency. Aside from the Omo Rezi Nano, Ketan, Joe Gatel,
Omo Rezi
Chakwan Shayem. So what I say, it's a crowd here. Now we are going to even look at the position of the law in terms of the injunction and to how the other crowd as an abba. So Ankoye major issues winner.
And also McMahon also cast almost 7 constituencies.
And I'm making Ankoye major issues be abba but look at just few constituencies out of 275. A whole year in our own. Ama and then
put the whole shemu part the South Rana.
But I want us to conclude with a solution. Until Mimi I'll still appeal to the NDC and the flag bearer. Say Oma continue to demonstrate that they believe in Ghana and in the Ghanaian and in the process. You best say the Kenyina no for the good of the country. Say ye wi omo pa dia omo nimsi ye wi omo mujidi because they wouldn't have wasted their time at a chopper. The option that is left for all of us to support their cause is respectfully and humbly go to our law courts and let's see our law courts what they will say on this matter, because Ghana needs to proceed we are unable to go through another 8 months. In this case, 42 days. Now,
but 42 days will be for a presidential petition.
21 days after declaration.
Yes,
okay.
And 42 days.
Okay.
In the 21 days after declaration, you have to file. Or file we are. The Supreme Court will take 42 days to adjudicate.
Okay, so what it even means
but
that
for parliamentary
exactly. What it means that presidential crowd be difficult chair parliamentary because parliamentary they just a constituency. Oh, she no about amadi di hu change the enko enim sa. Ye besre. Ye mpese obi betime nya akukuduro edine sa kire se we esi wa ha we ekọ ha enko yie enti ye de sobo no anase ye kobo NDC kwadu. I believe that as much as you know, you were genuine friends in the NDC.
Yeah.
Your names are more conscience. I am very clear and clean. I'm got a good heart for Ghana. So it will be very wrong and too early to start misrepresenting the fact. Say, no maybe a Asha CCC or mine, you know, a NDC and a MPP.
Yes.
One way you when we give room for those things, then many gapo share chili cross. I could this answer, knowing very well say you share a political party, and that's what has killed that all of us. Obedient is someone near political coloration. My appeal.
Okay.
Let our laws work. Let's go to the courts.
Yes, way forward.
Mr. Sumi appeal will go to the Electoral Commission.
Okay.
First of all, on 22nd December, which is about 2 days ago, there was a post on Twitter by Bright Simmons.
Yeah.
He made the point, and I'm reading it very briefly. Since the Ghanaian Electoral Commission refuses to show professionalism and institutional maturity, sections of the country's civil society movement will independently start tabulating and auditing the disputed Techiman South polls. That's the pink sheets. Trust the CSOs to do a more thorough job. That's what he said. Of course, there were a lot of reactions. So essentially,
unfortunately for such a statement, thorough jobs, me and I'm
what effect would it have?
You see, but my point is, in fact, in this case, I will be tempted to trust the work that the CSOs will do more than what I've seen the NDC and the MPP put out. By virtue of the fact that the CSOs are more of an independent group. The NDC MPP, they have stance on their end that everyone says they want. But I'm saying that on this notice coming from the CSOs and then necessary. The EC can avoid the situation where CSOs have to become a mirror version of an independent electoral commission to be doing and I make us say when my appeal will be to the electoral commission that we are not saying say go back and change whatever what gazette as far as Techiman South is concerned as the Ghana Publishing Company. We are not saying say go back. Well, the minority are calling for a recollation. It's fine. That's their demand. I wouldn't side with what they are saying or kick against what they are saying. All we are saying is that the Electoral Commission, they should forget the political parties. NDC. They are players in the polls, but they would want to show the ordinary actually lies with them, and they shouldn't run away from that responsibility by insisting saying we just want to see why your declaration, why your gazetting, you are standing by it. Unfortunately, there is a dispute. Just put out the details of what you did so that we can all go to bed clear in our minds that what you did is right and that the NDC can go to hell whatever details they are also putting out.
And the main reason why we are here anyway, but what would be your advice to all the parties way forward?
Well, Ojikano, since the Electoral Commission or Gazette results, Enti obehia the street protest on Sessan results.
Okay.
Enti obehia the NDC for Boko Court. Or Asempa or court. Minya and independent body be na ehunde say ite CSOs no so on the wedding, for instance, the wedding of Bright Simmons. I won't choose the CSOs to independently verify that. I mean, I wouldn't say CS.
The wedding now, it shows some more interest.
The wedding of it, say, I mean, we can assure you that ours
will do a thorough job.
A thorough job. You're telling, I mean, you're concluding someone has not done a thorough job. No. And I think that Yeko Court, you sue in accounting firms, KPMG, and Asefo. And we can, I mean, and this would all come from a court. And that's why going to court is very important. And the means could have been prevented, but you do papa no so okaji a coalition sheet allegedly coalition sheet. I was the issue na attitude nti coalition sheet no nyi ho a no no wara na ayo but be jeans don no but ebi so no nyi ho
isi fo na make say
no ebi so no nyi ho
isi fo na make no nyi
sa wona akaji na attitude
so boy nyina ebo
ma yedema MPP no MPP chairman etenenka enti me no mama kanye the court no be here na court na independent coalition no on civil society no edo
civil society they what will be even the constitutional basis for that
they are going to create more chaos
and we are what effect will it have
no for the purpose of education we all want to be clear now
yeah ma court nye we call court atene court
omo was saying your plight
KPMG go and audit the pink sheet. Now, Obia come at on
the Supreme Court election petition. Supreme Court election petition. Abraham people say, oh, we brought 11,000 by the end, which is not true. It's
7,000
something.
Yeah, 7,000 something.
7,000 something. KPMG folk are auditing one as no number.
Maybe no credible daddy. No credible point will be a man say. As we speak, Zin Mensah is a lawyer. She knows, say, omunko court. And indeed, if you have something to hide, as far as Techiman South is concerned, say, you do not dock him, and you saw what happened to your friend, say, Afarijan. I am Soma, just that to go a catcher and say, court, they are not visa court, easy. Once you are put in the dock, now you say, NDC have failed you a bit to say, Chachu Chekata. Not Chachu air cross examine. If you have something to hide, that is where everything will come out for everybody to see. And that's why I insist, say, Oman, the best avenue left for us now is for the party who feel, say, they've been cheated, no, to head to the court. There are two. One, if you want to still insist, say, ECM publish a coalition sheet now, you file a writ of mandate. Medibusa Adawudu can say, so file a writ of mandamus now. The other party has 21 days to respond.
Technicalities they're also smart. They know what they are doing.
If you ever filing in there, 21 days from now, they are swearing in no area. If you also go, because it's easy a gazetteer, if you go with a petition to the High Court, and also the Arana was so west, who's I was taking 4 years.
4 years. I'm making.
I'm over court or that's striking the free the record of parliament. In the local parliamentary records are on your MP that.
But the challenge is that we feel for system. No, it's a disadvantage to us as Ghanaians.
Before we win a court ruling.
Yeah, so
and maybe grass and go.
Well, we need to just find out.
You know, I think, sir, from where we've gotten to now, the only basis and left for us is for the NDC to go to court, compel the EC to do what they have to do. Now,
only basis now, no more challenge now. They can decide that they will not go to
protest,
court. They can continue to protest.
Of course, constitutional right. Once the police does not go to court to get a restraining order to stop you, you can always protest. And they are constitutionally guaranteed right for them to do it. But at the end of the day, the resolution is for this thing to be dealt with once and for all. And
it's not the CSOs.
No.
It's not a Bryce.
They
shouldn't come and Western apply for us. Or the figure because two judges here, another matter. You know.
Edima, my main message, wait, sir. The logic of by the NDC and some commentators is weird to me. The laws are clear on whatever process for electoral redress at the parliamentary level. What legal right has the EC to do a recollation or whatever after the Gazette? Note that most of these collation centers are temporary. And that's why every candidate is given pink sheets from all the polling stations for your own appraisal. And what is Bright Simmons saying? In what capacity? Sampine, a regional secretary, ma NPP war, Ashanti region. We say, why did the EC allow recollation in Banda? It was done 3 times. Why not Techiman South? Okay, Chuku. Okay, Chuku, so they are no Ediaba. And okay, Chuku, thank you for your message. Let me see. This one also says, Obi, did I just hear Kweku Bakun advocating against street protests? What a word.
No.
I don't think we're advocating against it.
No, resolution and it's
court. Yeah. Resolution but street protest no allowed. Let's get that. Okay, wait, sir. The law on mandamus is my answer to a mine. Why did the NDC terminate that option in the Sunyani court? Exactly. Did Isaac Amo continue asking the EC to do something outside the court? You are right. After declaration, only the court can provide a solution. Truth be told, Afarijan did not interrogate the NPP's case. He refused to delay the declaration on the basis that what Jake had brought to him was insufficient. Same day, he effected the declaration. And that was relative to the presidential election results, not parliamentary.
Chief Baini crying a simple amount.
Where Abdul Malik.
Chief Baini crying a simple amount. Say, and the Bomodia court because of figures maybe.
Yes.
Whilst they exhaust their avenues, you know, into foul figures now, for court.
No, so many locals behind in the matter. Like Chief Baini, that's not Canada. The Constitution is claiming the locals there. What will be my locus? No, but I think nobody's against the street protest. I'm also get here wrong. I believe the two really can go hand in hand. They are really not mutually exclusive. Ubetimi aye na oh yeah way. So let's see how it goes. But that's where we are. Yemra back now. Opoku Yemra meshe how the 8th Parliament would look like in terms of the leadership. Edikai say you can okay. The end started with majority and minority.
Well, before because let me say Ghana phobia more Africa Queen Mackerel ni Nra Odobi. Omo kaze yenka omo ho asem kakra na yen hwe de yeko because ene de omo zo ha ya ha. Omo ni ha ni ha. Christmas no. Ye be kwa kudi jaws amia ni nyina. It's very important.
And you know said your man here can I mean you bronya muntimini mu bebe na shopping enti mo shopping amo ye no and they me ba ofie na waduane nhyeda nko ya make esi wanim unim aduane no
unim aduane no ogapo uzu ko ka show say waduane nhyeda make esi wanim
so nim no anso nim di onim no anso nim
oba tie oba bi fie obedi die awia kete bi odi oman mako ha dodo mako
o momo so ye de makonation say fagusti ni ma on kwa ya de befaso.
Okay, in the Obapa products near come for the amount or more Africa Queen Mackerel, more Obapa sardine and Obapa tomato paste. Me pacho se uko jomo akai netos hanyo mama brusui Africa Queen Mackerel, Obapa sardine and Obapa tomato paste. Ni na your Obapa products. Bronya di noa ena ye de e chaso edition and so MIA. Ena ope healthy hot chocolate drink for your breakfast, lunch or dinner. Please try the Cocoa Dairy Free chocolate milk drink. A natural and made from pure Ghanaian cocoa mixed with fresh coconut milk from our own farms. It is enriched with calcium, vitamin D2, B12 and tastes silky and smooth. Now, a bar in other varieties in here were unsweetened, original and super. It's fortified with 9 key vitamins and minerals including iron, zinc, folic acid, vitamin C and iodine, which boost your daily immune system. When a toddlers mobitimi and me say ubitimi mama sa akebi mona soap ne mona cream and so say wu dware na pesa wo sra de wu hia and no mona soap and a mona cream so pesa wo honam etoso na eyi nka efiri wo hone ade a unya bia ebetimi aboa agbave fever so to fight the onset and outset of malaria and also unya bi no mo a ebetimi aboa na agbave tonic ne agbave balm so ni nyina unya bia in fact tonic no eye for ma so we suffer from menstrual clotted blood flow, flemish menses, black menses, piles, agbave balm no so ohuname tutu sisi na ye oya ode twitwe so a ebeteme akọ frag be herbal hospital e was 0246 595-256.
Ekosiisen On Asempa FM.
Ekosiisen na high Asempa FM. Gakpo mami mra na fe ye hwe ni si ano.
Yeah.
So ye hwe the current majority now. Why am the forming leadership no? Why na why?
So we have Otsechi Mensah-Bonsu,
majority leader.
The MP for
Swame.
On a majority leader.
Okay.
The deputy Sarah Joasafo, MP for Dome Kwabena.
Yes.
Osaya Minister for
Procurement.
Minister of State in charge of procurement. Yeah. Apart from that, no, a majority chief whip, Cheme.
Sunyane.
Sunyane.
Sunyane West.
West.
Kesia
Meya Cheme.
Asumacheme. On the lands, no.
Bafo no Sunyane East.
Yeah.
Sunyane West.
Yeah.
And that's the way we go Sunyane East.
On a majority chief whip. There is a first deputy majority chief whip. Matthew Nyindam, MP for Bandai. Onwaluzi. Into going into the next parliament. That's obviously a position that would have to be filled by someone else.
Okay.
And then the second deputy majority whip, MP for Trobu, Moses Enim. Second deputy majority whip. So currently, they are constituting the leadership. So there is someone from Ashanti. There is Greater Accra. In fact, there are two Greater Accra people in that because I'm a someone now. Also, I heard Dominica.
I'm now
Greater Accra, and then the Bono area and additionally, Bandai area.
Bandai was OT region.
Bandai was northern.
Hey.
Bandai was northern
region. Yeah, that's
Bandai was northern region. But obviously, the gentleman there, as far as the deputy whip, the first deputy whip, Mr. Nyindam, has to be replaced. There's a lot of talk happening. Into that list now, there is just one out of them who is actually a female. Bako Penayoba. It's almost crystal clear. Say, Oseichi Mensah-Bonsu will stay on as majority leader. There's been a lot of talk for a while now, which he actually confirmed in an interview with Evans Mensah on PM Express. Say, his wish, then they say, Uncle Person go free the leadership front as far as parliament is concerned.
Cabinet
minister. Currently, a minister, parliamentary affairs.
And so cabinet position, right?
We would have to check. We'd have to check on that. But now, on who say he would want to then leave parliament, be an MP, but hold on to a position,
an executive position.
Exactly. I'll be focusing on that.
Okay.
And in fact, there was a lot of talk then, just about almost 2 years ago, that he was probably going to head to the Foreign Affairs Ministry. And on one basono, then the talk going forward was that when this parliament life comes to an end and we're getting into the 8th parliament now, just maybe it will be the good time for him to leave. To go take up that full ministerial position, no? So that then someone else. Now, Debbie, and he himself goes on to make the point, say that was his wish to leave Parliament as a Minister for Parliamentary Affairs and Majority Leader. But with how things are looking, party is impressing on him. Say this is the time that they need him to lead the MPP side of the house. On no position, it's almost crystal clear. Say he's staying on as majority leader.
Now, if you have deputy.
There's a lot of conversation ongoing. Names as far as a number of them. There's talk of Afenyo Markins, Alexander Afenyo Markins, MP for Futu. In fact, that has actually come up before, even before Adwoasafo. But then the indication was that, of course, a female was needed as far as the front bench is concerned, and that it wouldn't be good to have all males. So that's one of the names that repeatedly is coming up. Apart from Onono, there's actually talk about Esla Owusu, the Minister for Communications.
Oh, so deputy majority leader.
And then the point is that if Sarah Joasafo is leaving, another female will be needed in that particular position rather than a male.
Is it confirmed, sir, Enyadi party be maintaining Sarah as the deputy majority leader?
It's almost looking so. Not 100% confirmed. Of course, those decisions. The other bit is that this decision has to be taken in consultation with the incoming MPs. and we know that a lot of majority MPs are leaving. At least more than 70 of them are not returning to the House. So a lot of the decisions are being taken right now, which would have a huge influence as far as the current MPs are concerned. But it's still something that those who are coming in afresh need to be part of. In fact, from what we gather now, on the 13th of December, there was a major meeting of the majority caucus in Parliament to discuss all of these. And from what we've gathered from the meeting, a lot of names came up, a lot of suggestions came up in terms of who should take up what. But then the point was that the president, being the de facto leader of the party, is someone who has to be consulted very greatly before a firm decision is taken on how things would look like eventually. So those final consultations, particularly with the president and the party broadly, hasn't happened, which is how come we don't have the firm confirmation of who is taking up what. But it's looking very much so that the position of deputy majority leader is a position that someone else may be brought in, because then the push is that the front bench needs to be strengthened enough to be able to match up to what the other side will bring in going forward.
Likely say nipa ni din e was ropa ya Alex Afenyo Marken.
Samson and Madam Esla and so are coming up as some of the
deputy majority leader.
Some of the possible replacements.
Whips names be about.
That's funny, dear. Looks like Chairman's name is what is still going around as to what the way forward will be. Except that now, then the claim is that we're seeing the NPP win a lot of seats up north, which has to reflect more as far as the leadership is concerned. There's been conversation about some of those who may end up replacing Matthew Nyindam as first deputy whip, and a number of names have actually been thrown up, including one that I heard recently, the deputy minister for employment and labor relations, Bright Rekobobe's name has come up as someone who may be pushed along that line in terms of as first deputy. It's one of the names that has come up. Not just that, but then a number of others as well. But obviously, these are things that the conversations are still happening, and the firm decision will be taken subsequently. But what goes against that is then with the push that's happening, a more fair representation of the north has to come in once you have someone from up north leaving the front bench. So then that goes against it to a certain extent. All those dynamics are things that we know definitely before the end of the Christmas break, Nadia, they would have come to a decision on that, because they need to be ready with that before the 6th of January. In fact, over the last 4 years, by this time, we knew those who will be leading both the majority and the minority front benches. But of course, this time around, with what is happening in Techiman South and what happened with so it's a lot of those decisions have delayed. But we'll see some changes to a certain extent as far as the majority front bench is concerned.
Concerned. You minority leadership near Haruna Idrisu as minority leader
from the northern region. His deputies from the voter region, James Klucha Veji, who is the deputy majority leader. The minority chief whip is from the Ashanti region, Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak, the MP for Aswasi. The first deputy, the MP for Banda, Ibrahim Ahmed, also from the Bono area. And then the second deputy whip, Comfort Doyle Ganza, MP for Adan area Honum, Greater Accra, and deputy whip. Again, at that level, there is so much happening. In fact, publicly, the MP for Elembele, Emmanuel Amakufibwa, meaning he's been
an interviewer
on media and parliament, and now Pache say there's been a lot of seats that they've won in the western, northwestern, and central area that they would want to see them being represented as far as leadership on the front bench is concerned.
Which is fair.
Well, which is fair, but how are you looking at it? Are you looking at that entire block as one region, or you are looking at it in terms of the numbers that are coming from the various regions? Because we have figures now. So, for example, just the voter region is producing somewhere in the region of, if my memory serves me right, about 18 seats.
Yes.
Just from the voter region. But those specific places now, it looks
Western
like
North. Western North produces 6 for the NDC. Western region produces 5 or 6 for the NDC. And a central region so produces close to 13 seats.
So yes, so the Western is producing 6, the Western North is producing 8, and Central is producing 13. And the point is
Western North na 6, Western region is 8.
Oh, exactly. With then into year tallying now, then that puts the figure somewhere around 27. Somewhere around 27. But the question is, so you are looking at that entire side, enclave, western side, as a block.
Yeah.
It is a voter for Nsukase, apart from year 18, or Yamfa or Teen Sosonka, Nebia, Obikase, Eastern for no Yamfa in Dianka, and see a fair representation. Then how are you approaching it? Are you approaching it as region by region and paying attention to it and ensuring that there is a reflection of that in terms of maybe those who have the higher numbers?
If who are 3 regions combined, now say we have 27 seats everywhere. I mean, leadership, how many? 5 people in leadership, and to one from that enclave, say bad.
Out of 27 out of 137 seats. And if you want to break it into enclaves,
into 5,
if you want to break it into enclaves, then maybe you can talk of maybe the northern part, maybe the middle belt, maybe the southern belt, the western belt, and probably the eastern belt.
Yeah, the eastern belt.
Well, which makes sense. That is a fair push to make. But obviously, once that is accepted, then we need to see a situation where someone must give as far as the current leadership is concerned. Again, on the minority side, it's almost 100% clear that
minority leader
would hold on as leader of that side of the house. They don't want to be called the minority as far as the next parliament as far as the next parliament is concerned. As far as the next parliament, but it's almost very clear. In the conversation with Evans Mensah, Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak made the point that he is comfortable with holding on as whip, and then contested to want to head up there because I don't know who they say in this upcoming parliament, the position of the whip would be even more important than whoever the leader will be. So and he's someone who, despite everything, they were hit by the bribery scandal earlier in the history of this parliament, which to a certain extent almost broke the minorities front, because then we had a situation where there was a bribery allegation that was coming from Mahama Yariga, and his own leader Muntaka Mubarak was insisting that wasn't the case. So then one way or the other they've managed to rise above that and stuck together as a minority over the last few years, and Muntaka has played a key role in holding the minority together. So obviously he won't leave that particular position. Again, from the conversation that's happening, one of the positions that may end up giving has to do with the deputy leadership as far as the minority is concerned. That we may end up seeing a situation where someone else, maybe from the voter region or elsewhere, may end up replacing James Abeji. Although, again, these are decisions that have not been firmed up 100% yet. But a number of the names are coming up, again, from the voter region specifically, including Mr. Okujeto Ablakwa, Kwame Agboja, the MP for Adaklu. So then the talk going around is that conversation could possibly happen, that he should... But
Okujeto would be a fine deputy leader.
I couldn't agree more. He's built himself in parliament over the last few years that he's been there. He's shown he can analyze issues across board, not just sticking to his area, which is education or probably foreign affairs, but he has a good sense of the management of the economy broadly, very articulate, young, so then he's bringing in a lot of energy as far as the leadership front is concerned. So yes, but
by combination between Onone Haruna would be one to relish. I mean, that would be solid.
But again, the Westerners are pushing very strongly that we should see a situation where there's a representation there. So
I don't think Amabua would be a bad choice either. Amabua for deputy minority or majority leader, however it goes, would not be a bad choice.
There's a lot of backroom conversation that happens. Of course, but there's talk of a lot of friction of a sort as far as some of the leaders on that side and people like him are concerned. But of course, once they have a common agenda, they'll be able to fix out of some of those specific concerns going forward. So yes, we are likely to see some changes as well as far as the front bench of the minority is concerned. And again, all of it is aimed at making the front bench more formidable to be able to deal with the issues, looking at how tight the next parliament will be with the 137.
That's true. Obi, mami, some interesting information. I'll say,
let's hear it.
I'll say, Obi, interesting. Mahama Yarega is urging Haruna Idrisu to contest the speaker so that he can become either majority or minority leader. And I'll say, there is an NDC leadership meeting now. That's fake. And serious lobbying is ongoing. He continues that Cletus Avoka is lobbying for second deputy speaker seriously. He has contested every election in the Fourth Republic, lost 2 and won 5. And Cletus so bad with that gravitas, for second deputy speaker. But we know what bring us to, the main
still on that just briefly so second deputy speaker, you are hearing Cletus Avoka with the information that the gentleman is giving you. I'm also hearing Dr. Dominic Ayini, the MP for Bogatanga, and in fact on only DNA I've come across some of the folks from the enclave who are pushing and more like campaigning and whipping up support for him to fit in that position, whether second deputy or first deputy, depending on how things will pan out eventually. That is, he's one of the names that are coming up strongly as one of the people that the NDC will probably occupy for second deputy speaker.
That would be interesting. Yes. First deputy speaker, likely say Joe Wise would have it.
Again,
depending on how
exactly. Again, there's also talk about the Fomina MP possibly. There's also talk about the Fomina MP possibly
for first deputy speaker
taking up that in terms of a deputy position away from Joe Wise. And in fact, in a lot of the conversation that had happened, there'd been talk as well possibly about that was then when there was the talk about probably chairmen are leaving the leadership front as far as the majority leadership is concerned, and then a lot of names were coming up about possible replacement, including Jose Usu, and then there was the name of Damboche that was put out. As to whether that still stands now, and of course, if chairmen are staying, then obviously there is no way that Joyce would then take up the majority leadership. But then yes, I'm making the point that yes, Joyce obviously your safest hand for that position, but then there is that talk as well about the Fomina MP.
The Fomina MP. And for the Speaker of Parliament itself, so far names are yatete on the part of the NPP. Justice Jones Doche.
Again, that's a name that's been making rounds for like 2 years now in terms of the likelihood of him possibly succeeding Professor Michael Kwe, except that of course because of the dynamics of how this parliament is looking like, then it's now more like an open fight for everybody, including Michael Kwe himself. But Justice Jones Doche, the man who made the famous create, loot and share comments that the Wyoming money, it was a case of create, loot and share by the government then Multimedia very strongly.
Ghana's High Commissioner to the UK.
Yes, I was serving as MP between I think 96
to 2008. Not to 2012.
Precisely. So he served at a point in time on the leadership front on the majority side when Kufuor was president. So one very key name making rounds on the corridors of Parliament.
6 or 7 ministries.
Education, he's handled
solid resume.
Exactly.
Solid resume.
And he has the international exposure with his work in the UK. Also
for Speaker of Parliament. In the last few weeks now, a strong push for Freddie Blay. Former first deputy speaker of parliament, former MP Elembele.
So he was second deputy speaker. He became first deputy speaker before eventually he lost the Elembele seats to Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa. Managed to move on from the CPP stock and join the NPP side, raising to become first vice chairman. Now he's chairman of the party. Obviously, the party people would be interested in having someone like that in there as the Speaker of Parliament. But in fact, Nidin did not come up today. Even before Professor Michael Quay was given the slot as Speaker 4 years ago, his name had again come in very strongly. And the indication was that he was really pushing then to want to get to Parliament. Of course, this time around, it looks like the party, the NPP as a party with a lot of the executives, as we have heard, are making a very strong case for him. Again, with the argument that this is the kind of Parliament that you need someone who has been there and seen it unfold to better manage things in terms of what the 8th Parliament will look like. So another very strong name.
A strong name. Which other name?
Let's not rule out Professor Michael Quay.
Oh, again?
Yes. Let's not rule out Professor Michael Quay again because, of course, again, for like 2 years now, there's been the talk that he would have to make way if the NPP wins this election for someone else to come in. But particularly with how Parliament is looking like now, then there's the point that you need someone who's seen it all and have guided the House through some of these contentious moments to then manage the House. So thus far, we can't rule him out completely yet. And then lawyer Ayikweo too. Because then the point is, so we have someone from the Northern Enclave as president, as vice president, someone from the Achim area as president himself. We have someone from Greater Accra serving as speaker currently. If you would want to get him replaced, then your best bet is another Greater Accra person. And that's where the former Attorney General Ayikweo name again come up very strongly. Again, the jostling is happening. People are campaigning and lobbying for all these individuals. And hoping to get them there. One of the key things that is again being looked at is someone that the other side can build a consensus with to a very large extent. But that should again be a strong person that the president and the party and the MPP can whip in line as and when they want. Those are some of the dynamics that are playing out in terms of who they want, which then, if you ask me, then probably brings down the list to Papa Osuankama and probably Freddie to a very large extent, except that of course him being an outright party person, then the minority would not exactly be excited about him serving as the one in leadership position. But of course, it's not about who is the finest for the job. It's about who the MPP caucus feels comfortable will be able to do their bidding, and who the president feels comfortable will be able to do their and the president bit is very important. And again, in the interview on PM Express that the majority leader did with Evans Mensah, he made the point about how the president is the de facto leader of the party, and so then his input is very crucial in terms of who should take up that position as far as the speakership is concerned.
Wow. Enti we any or more Edin aba up say Ebimu betimi aba be Speaker of Parliament in the next Parliament. And him say on the minority side, then so name the name of the former Speaker Asanyaba
Edward Duajaho has come up.
Say basa omonso form a majority now. And now so our Parliament na inimpona, they might also put up a candidate.
So that's what, usually the convention has been, apart from the time of Speaker Sechi Hughes, when the NDC put him up, although he was an outgoing speaker that the MPP had gotten in. Most of the times it's been consensus, whereby whoever has the majority, then, because the standing orders say that when more than one person's name come up for the speakership, then there will be a vote. But for many years, there's been a consensus where whoever is holding the majority will then propose who the speaker will be, they will propose who the first deputy will be, and then those on the minority side will propose who the second deputy speaker will be. But now it's looking very much likely that both sides will put up candidates. And those names that are coming up from the NDC side include Alban Bagbin and Duajaho for that particular position. The dawn of 7 January will be interesting in Parliament in terms of how things will pan out. Because there is talk by the minority side about how they wouldn't even allow people who are not legitimately elected MPs to show up in the House on the day. Then you're asking questions, will they be fiscal in terms of how they will prevent him? So it looks like it's all going down to the wire. We wait to see what will happen on the 7th of January.
Ekosiisen On Asempa
Joseph Opoku Gakpo. No, way too much.
No, they will
way too much. May I say, Papa Joseph Namoten and Kano Parliamentary Affairs